What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another tropical forecast here by Asian Weather Forecast. We have yet another huge update on potential tropical cyclone 9, and this could actually be Isaias within its coming hours because it now has a closed low pressure system, banding, and a lot more as well, even center convection. So this actually is likely to be tropical now by the 11 o'clock update at latest because it finally officially has a closed low pressure system. It did take a while. We did think it would be tropical storm at 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock, but now it's finally closed, so we'll see what the National Center has. Not only that, we have huge updates here. We now have that eastern trend like I predicted. I said in the last video, this could start taking an eastern trend instead of west, and here it is. National Center changed their cone. Tracks have moved, pushed it a lot more east, and we might not even see a Florida landfall. It's going to be a very close call, maybe a Dorian track like we first expected a couple of days ago. This may actually affect the Carolinas more than Florida. The Carolinas are a huge threat now. It's been on and off, but this actually seems the most reasonable due to maybe a rapid intensification in the Caribbean, which means it's going to go more north, and that means Carolina. So South Carolina, and especially North Carolina, you guys have to be on high alert now. Florida, you guys can be on high alert, but I just don't think for landfall, just be on high alert to see some effects. But before we get a video, please subscribe if you're new, hit the post notification icon, and also be sure to like the video. Without further ado, let's get into the tropical forecast. Here's a look at the National Hurricane Center here. As you see, this is actually the 5 o'clock update here. They still show PTC 9. It is now still at 45 miles an hour, but it has dropped to 1,004 millibars. And if you guys are wondering why Florida isn't at a threat anymore, just like that, it's because it turned extremely to the north. Look at that. It's at 16.4 degrees north. Earlier in my video, it was like 15.8. That is a huge increase. And look how close it is to Puerto Rico now. It actually may or may not make a Puerto Rico landfall. It's going to be very close. We're already seeing tropical storm force winds across the whole island already. I've actually seen photos of someone who sent me a photo. Their trees are down. Power is out for much of the country here. So really, this is changing the whole track. If you're wondering, how did Florida go from being the main target to now the Carolinas being the main target? It's because it did what I expected and others expected. It now went to an eastern trend, and this thing on recall was found way more north than it should be. So look at how close it is now to Puerto Rico, and this is actually going to change the cone completely. Now it's possibly, basically, maybe even avoiding Dominican Republic. It may or may not avoid Dominican Republic, which means huge possibly for maybe a major hurricane, and possibly going to take that northern turn because it strengthened a lot, and that's going to bring in a big threat for Wilmington, and especially Myrtle Beach and Wilmington. You guys are possibly the biggest threats here, and then we also have a decent threat for the Outer Banks and even as far as out as Charleston. But there it is, still moving at 23 miles an hour, and we still have a 90% chance for the next 5 days. Here's a look now at these simulated IR brightness, and look at the convection on the storm. It is absolutely mental, the convection on the center of the storm. This is showing you how much it's organizing. Not only is there convection, there's convection in the center of the storm, which means this could very well be developing now this so-called maybe eye wall here. It can be definitely extremely organized. Now look how this huge convection that we saw in the northern part of the storm earlier today has now connected to that first area for a potential center of the storm. So we have a mega center for this storm. This is possibly a extreme potential tropical cyclone here, and as you see, convection has died down a tad, but that does not mean anything. This is still very impressive here, but look how much more north it is now to Puerto Rico. We kind of have a center right here now. It's not here, it's actually not there. This is where that new center is, right there, and it is going to be moving like this. It's going to be extremely close to a Puerto Rico landfall, but it might just not hit Puerto Rico, but it's going to be very close there. And as you see, this storm is really looking very organized there on IR brightness there. Let's go and check out now another satellite imagery. This is true color. Just look at how much this is closed. Look how much it's closed. It is very well closed. It definitely has that circular rotation. You can see the banding. You can see the vorticity. It has everything here. There it is. Right there. The center of the storm is right. That's actually, if it pops up, the convection right there, that is where the center of the storm is. This storm should have been really kind of maybe right here at that moment, really do that huge plummet to the south last night. But now it's all the way possibly up here, that center, and it's going to slowly now move to the northwest. And it may not be extremely close to Puerto Rico, but it's a lot closer than it was earlier. But there it is. It's got a circular formation and rotation. Look at that. Low pressure is now officially closed. So this is now really tropical, really good. You see the banding. You see everything. You have the central convection there. Look at that. Beautiful amounts of convection there, right there. That is extremely fluffy clouds that, if you guys know Hurricane Watch Team, he really likes some fluffy clouds, and that is exactly what we're seeing here. And that is a sign of possibly seeing definitely a lot, not only strengthening, but also a huge, what I call RO, which is rapid organization. I know it's not really a thing, but I invented this so-called thing, RO, R-O, rapid organization instead of rapid intensification. That's exactly what we're seeing right here. Let me actually now take a look at the new National Hurricane Center cone. As you see, it has shifted a lot to the east like I expected. It's not where I want it now, but it's making improvement. Let's just say that. I did say it was going to move east, and it did. This thing was actually, right here at first. This showed it going to right here, right? That is huge improvement compared to the last update. I'm kind of glad I went against the National Hurricane Center and it actually happened. That's kind of what the National Hurricane Center was showing the last update, and now look at where it is now. I think by the 11 o'clock update, they're probably going to update the cone to possibly going like this, maybe most likely like this. This is probably what the new cone's going to look like that. Or it's going to be maybe showing like this, maybe like that. That's probably what the new cone's going to look like. I do expect it to continue to shift eastward. I think this will shift eastward to the point where it might not even hit Florida. I'm not saying it's not going to bring impacts. It definitely will bring impacts. It may even make a landfall in Florida. It's kind of where we were yesterday morning, where the Carolinas were the biggest threat. Where this possibly going to do a Dorian track. I remember yesterday morning we kind of had the exact position here. As you see, I'm actually in the cone right there. I'm actually the far northern part of the cone. I'm right in that little cone area. So I'm actually possibly going to get affected here. I'm at a 10 to 20% chance for tropical storm force winds. But who cares what I'm seeing? We're going to be seeing who can actually see the real threat there. As you see, Puerto Rico and also the U.S. and British Islands are now under tropical storm force winds. As you see, the reason why we are seeing a very big threat for Puerto Rico right now is because the tropical storm force wind extents are north of the low pressure system. The strongest part of the storm and the most organized part of the storm is north of that low pressure system. As you see, the low pressure is right there. It's a lot closer than we thought. A lot closer than it was going to be. As you see, still, National Hurricane Center doesn't show becoming a hurricane, but it's making improvement with the cone. Kind of. Here we have tropical storm warnings for Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Leeward Islands, St. Parish, the Turks and Caicos, and also tropical storm watch has now been added for portions of the far southern Bahama Islands. So the National Hurricane Center, or NOAA's definitely making a better improvement. Let's just say that. I could very well maybe see possibly this to maybe move a lot more to the east, to the point where that cone doesn't go anywhere west than Panama City. That's where I think how much this National Hurricane Center still has to turn to the east. I don't agree with this, right? I still don't agree with this cone, but I'm just going to tell you it's making an improvement, really. I think the chances for Florida having a landfall have kind of decreased. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. They still have a chance. I'm just saying it's definitely decreased a lot here. Look at this. Look at this one model here for the GFS assembled tracks. We have so many models on this track, and look at this. As you see, look how close this will get to Puerto Rico. Just look how close, right there. Right there. That is extremely close. That's going to bring a huge impact for Puerto Rico. It was supposed to go like this. It was supposed to go like this earlier last night, but now it's going right there. It's going to be taking a major northwestern turn. You know why? It's because it's going to be intensifying, and you know, the stronger the storm gets, the more the northwestern turn it's going to do. Watch. So look, it's right here. It doesn't look like it's going to get that close to Puerto Rico based on where it is right now, but it's going to really be intensifying a lot within the next 24 hours. That's going to make it do a very big northwestern turn, possibly just skidding Dominican Republic or going over the thinnest part of the country, which means it not only will be avoiding the mountains, it will be avoiding a longer stay over land, which means bigger strengthening possibilities. Then it's gonna keep on doing that northwestern turn. Then it's gonna kind of go a little bit more to the west, maybe because it weakens a tad over Dominican Republic. So it's going to maybe do a little bit of calmer western track, a slim west-northwest track, and then it blows up between Florida and Haiti, and then it does that monster northern trend there, and then boom. There we got the Carolinas and a threat right there. This is kind of the new cone. This is what I think the National Hurricane Center should have by tomorrow morning. I'm going to be generous and give them tomorrow morning because they should have it for tonight, but they won't change it that much, really. So, hey, this is probably going to be the new cone, in my opinion, really. Actually, I don't want to include Georgia. I don't want to include Georgia. This is probably going to be the new cone at this point right here. This is possibly the new cone, and that's going to impact definitely North Carolina and South Carolina. Even South Carolina can see a landfall, but I think that probably for North Carolina getting a landfall is a lot more likely. I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but when this first became an invest, I did say it was going to hit North Carolina, and here it is, possibly going to hit North Carolina. Not only is it hitting North Carolina, it's not going to hit. North Carolina can be the first U.S. landfall for the storm, so it's even better. And I believe not yesterday, but I believe the 27th, I said this was going to possibly hit Wilmington. And it's taking aim towards Wilmington. Yes, the Outer Banks may get landfall, the first landfall, but really a lot more models are focusing on Myrtle Beach, are focusing on Wilmington, and are focusing on the border between the Carolinas. So really, we're really watching North Carolina a lot more than South Carolina, but really it could be a very close landfall to the point where it's maybe on the border. But really, if you're in the Carolinas, you definitely want to prepare for the storm. Even if you're in South Carolina, you're still going to be seeing maybe some really really heavy amounts of rain, maybe tropical storm force winds, depending how strong it is. Because let's say it does avoid Dominican Republic, let's say it does avoid Cuba, let's say it does avoid many of the Bahama Islands, and the southeastern coast waters are the most favorable region in this whole track. Maybe a Category 3, especially since it's maybe going through a huge RO phase. That could be an issue. That can really be an issue. Maybe it could be 60 miles an hour by the end of today. Who knows? Maybe 50 is more likely, but maybe it does reach 55, but there's no 55, so it's going to automatically go to 60. So really monitoring this very close. Let's go check out another track here. This is another very well a favorable possibility. As you see, a lot of these models now are showing a lot more of an eastward trend. As you see, they're going to possibly show it go right here towards the area near Puerto Rico. Look how close look how close that model is. Right there. Just barely skinning Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is definitely being a big threat as of now, really. This is probably my cone at this point. I still think Florida's going to be the cone. I'm not going to rule out Florida that fast, obviously. But I think that probably for a landfall has really minimized a lot. But that is definitely the cone right here. That is the cone for where the storm can possibly go. As you see, a lot of the models now have shifted a ton to the west, from hitting to the Key West, from hitting the Keys and near Tampa to all the way now to the other side of Florida, maybe not even hitting the eastern part of Florida. As you see, look at all these models just skinning. Not really making a landfall for Florida, but just skinning Florida. I think that can happen. Maybe just a little tad off the coast. Maybe this is something that can very well happen. Maybe it goes right here. It kind of calms down on that turn, and then boom, blows up like, actually that's a lot. That's actually too close to the coast. It kind of goes like this, and then boom, takes that major northwestern turn, and then bring a big threat for the Carolina border. I'm really worried about the Wilmington area. I don't want to sound like I'm really taking aim towards one city. Obviously, a lot of the Southeast and a lot of the Carolinas in general will see impacts, but really, I'm really for Myrtle Beach to Wilmington, I think that's where we have the best chance for a landfall. As you see, these two malls right here, due to it going in between Myrtle Beach and Wilmington, I think those areas do have a very good area for potential for a landfall. Here's another track here, and this one I really agree with. As you see, the tropical tidbits, they were all right here, all in the Gulf, but look where they are now. We have a couple more in the Gulf. We still have a decent amount in the Gulf, but we have way more now on the southeast. Look at this. This is possibly going to be the new cone right here. Going to be like this, really, boom, like that. So that's going to be most likely our new cone. That's not the best cone, but it is what it is. So honestly, I'm thinking more of this. Right, I'm not thinking it's going to go really into Haiti as much as we thought. I think it's going to kind of go like this, take that big northwestern turn, and maybe not even affect Haiti. Or affect Haiti, it's going to affect Haiti, but maybe not even make it Maybe that low pressure won't even go over Haiti, what I'm saying, but it's still going to bring effects right there. As you see, look at all these models right here, just barely missing Florida. They're going to miss Florida, or 1 or 2 are showing Haiti and Florida, but the other 3 are showing just missing. But look at that, just going to skin the area, and then boom, Wilmington, North Carolina, or Myrtle Beach. We have 1 model toward the Outer Banks, but that's kind of taking a GFS approach, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm really worried about this general square. If you're in the square, I would definitely really watch out. So yeah, I'm not saying if you're in the square to evacuate. I'm just saying, if you're in the square, I would definitely keep in mind keeping a closer eye on the storm. Let's just say that. I would definitely say the risk for the Carolinas getting a direct landfall, not just a little overland effect. Direct landfall, I think that's possible. Not as a tropical storm, not as a Category 1. Maybe as a Category 2 or Category 3 with a chance for maybe, who knows, maybe we can see 2 rapid intensifications. Not as bad as Hannah, but maybe we can have 1 rapid intensification here and through that square, and maybe, who knows, 1 right there. Very well likely to really monitor this area really closely. Now let's go take a look at the models. So here's the NavGem. Of course, NavGem has kind of been the most, let's just say the model we've all looked at, and kind of based on a decision really. So there it is, 1,004 millibars right now. And based on this being at 1,004 millibars, where it is right now, it's following a NavGem approach. Look what the NavGem shows: 1,005 millibars hitting Dominican Republic, but the far eastern tip, and then possibly strengthening over land because it's moving so fast. It is how it is. 1,003 millibars there. I think this is definitely the general area where it can be a Category 1, right? That general area. I think that's very well where it can possibly go through that strengthening phase. And then boom, look at this NavGem. 994 millibars, just like that, going north of the Grand Bahama Island. It just wants to go to a 994 storm, you know? And then it goes to 992, skinning the Florida coast. I think what the NavGem is showing could very well happen. 99%. Just the 1% is it's going to be stronger. I don't see it being 992 millibars going near Florida. I think maybe 990, 989. I know it sounds a little crazy for now, but just wait, you know. Just wait. We'll see. We'll see exactly how much it strengthens between that area of those 800 miles of favorable water. Look at this. I think that NavGem's really onto something. You know, I haven't seen that since the NavGem has showed the storm hitting the Carolinas. I think the NavGem is really onto something. Look at that. 986 millibars just off the coast of Jacksonville. 984, 981, and then making landfall at 900. I believe 979. Yep, 979 millibars. Not right over Wilmington, but I would say 5 miles west of Wilmington. Basically right over Wilmington. Right there. This is going to bring in major impacts for Myrtle Beach. This is going to bring in major impacts for Charleston. Major impacts for the Outer Banks. Major impacts for Raleigh. Major impacts for Norfolk. Major impacts for Richmond. Major impacts as far as Dover. You know why? Because these areas aren't used to seeing this whether there's tropical storm force winds or hurricane force winds in these areas. They are not used to seeing this in early August, yeah. Look at that. Possibly going to go right over Raleigh and then affect Virginia and Dover and even the mid-Atlantic. Just look at that. It's looks like it's going to hit straight for Florida. But then the storm's like, oh, I want to strengthen a little bit more. It gets a little greedy on strength and then boom, goes right up the coast of Florida, not even touching it. But if you're living in Florida, if you're living on the east coast of Florida, saying, it changed to the east, like Agent said, so now it's probably not going to hit Florida. Yes and no. It may not hit Florida, but it'll be miles off the coast. You know what that means? Impacts. This could bring in a Dorian-like impact. Not Category 3 force winds for Florida, but like where it's not making landfall in Florida, but still bringing impacts. Tropical storm warnings are so likely. Maybe hurricane watches. That's just depending on the strength of the storm. But really, I think we can see hurricane warnings, hurricane watches, even tropical storm watches for portions of the southeastern coast, very widespread. So if you're in Florida, the eastern coast of Florida mainly, not inland Florida, I think if you're in the coast, the east coast of Florida, you definitely don't want to keep your, you don't want to just give up on the storm. Just do not just give up on the storm. CMC still showing going on the kind of the west, you know, not the West United States, the West Coast of Florida, because it has not followed the updates. Icon, extremely interesting. Icon has finally caught up with this storm's track. Look at that, 1,002 millibars there over the Dominican Republic. Gonna go really straight. Look at that, 996 just near southern Florida. 993 as it strengthens, going over, near the coast of Florida. And then it's going to start separating from that Florida area. And then it's going to be at 984 millibars near South Carolina. I think 984 is reasonable. I think it's reasonable. But I'm really thinking the NavGen is really onto something with 979. You know, I don't want to sound crazy, but I think 975 millibars is likely. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying if 975 millibars happens, I won't be surprised. You know, I'm not saying it's going to, don't take my word 100%. I'm just saying it could happen. I wouldn't be surprised. And then the Icon takes it right over Myrtle Beach. And you know who predicted Myrtle Beach? My friend Hurricane Watch Team. He said Myrtle Beach, and I said Wilmington. So really, it's kind of a close call between us. I said Wilmington. The NavGen shows Wilmington. He said Myrtle Beach. The Icon shows Myrtle Beach. So really, extremely interesting, very close call. And it shows making landfall at 986 millibars, which is, I guess you could call very weak Cat 2, Cat 1, Cat 1. And then also, that's kind of really, I want to show that. The last thing we'll be looking at is the winds here, and then we'll be wrapping the video. Here's the NavGen. They're bringing some strong winds there for Puerto Rico. Like I said, Puerto Rico's definitely get impacts. Gonna possibly bring impacts for the Turks and Caicos area, southern Bahamas, and then watch as it nears Florida. Watch this as it just absolutely strengthens and blows up here. Maybe the IR won't happen between Florida and Haiti. Maybe it's gonna happen between Florida and Bahamas. Maybe that's a new IR phase area or the region. August 1st is going to possibly bring in maybe around 45, 50 miles an hour for portions of Florida on August 1st in the next 78 hours. But going to bring in possibly 65 miles an hour for portions of the Big Island of Bahamas, and then boom, blows up right here. Look at that very strong storm, 986 millibars, and then boom, right over Wilmington. Possibly going to bring in up to, 80, 90 miles an hour, maybe even stronger, really. That's going to absolutely devastate the Carolinas for an August storm, really. They got Florence, 2 years ago? I don't think they're still recovering. I just think they're still a little shocked by what Florence brought. And then the last thing we'll be looking at is the Icon here, because Icon and NavGen are kind of the really models we're looking at really right now, as they are showing what we're expecting here. Let's go check out the Icon. I think it actually load here. But as you see, this is going to possibly bring in quite the trip here, quite the storm with the Icon. Look at that, possibly going to bring in, I don't even know why I'm looking at the southeast right now. I should be looking at the western Atlantic. Possibly going to bring in quite the strong winds here for portions of the Caribbean there. And this thing, I don't know why this thing's taking so long to load. I absolutely have no idea. Okay, there we go. Finally refreshing. Please load. There we go. It's about time. 1,000 millibars, getting near close to the Grand Bahama Island. 999 millibars, going to weaken a little bit, but very interesting. Or maybe could be seeing a very interesting call with the Icon. This is actually not H50. This is actually 10-meter winds, and it's showing possibly, what is this? Possibly 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and it's going to really blow up and make landfall over the Myrtle Beach area. So guys, this is a wrap of the video. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If there's a huge update with the National Hurricane Center going east, more to the east like I expect, I will have another video this evening. So expect a video this evening. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye guys.